This book was created with the protection and well-being of our students in mind. We hope it will be read by many and that we will all be able to learn more and better, to have a responsible attitude in the context of digital citizenship. Digital security is a serious business. Here are some tips to avoid risks and have a safe navigation. Together, we will enrich our younger people.
Teacher who participated in the preparations of the book: Orquídea Santos, Paulo Malojo, Susana Alves, Sónia Ribeiro, Murad Solá, Sofia Marinho, Carla Rodrigues, Paula Ferreira, Natália Lopes, Sandra Stick, Sinem Heike, Errol Ball, Celeste Antunes, Mary Kerman, Maria José Araújo, Tatiana Seban, Burcu, and Carla Costa. Media literacy is the capacity to access, have a critical understanding of, and interact with the media and has never been as important in today's society. It enables citizens of all ages to navigate the modern new environment and take informed decisions.
Teachers share the view that promoting media literacy is key in combating disinformation. People should trust the chain of knowledge while acknowledging when they should be suspicious of it. Education is the best weapon against disinformation.
Fake news. Fake news is as misleading information presented as news that has no facts behind it. Fake news are often published in order to damage someone's reputation. In order to not fall for fake news, there are some things that you need to pay attention, such as the source behind the news. Who has published the news? Does the news use a shocking headline? To stop fake news, it's also necessary that you don't spread those. So, before sharing it with another person, you need to be sure that the piece of news you're about to share is authentic. Don't spread fake news. Be a part of the solution. Phishing. Phishing is the name given to a cybercrime to fraudulently or misleadingly obtain confidential data for unlawful uses. These criminal procedures are developed through fake email messages or instant messages that lead to fake websites that also look similar to real communications normally made by the entity in question. This type of attack has very different effects that depend on the attacker's intentions and can range from identity theft to the theft of money and any other type of private information.
A hacker is a person who enters personal computers or computers and networks belonging to various institutions and organizations without permission. Hackers have extensive knowledge of breaking into computer networks and bypassing security protocols. Students should be educated on these issues and the danger should be explained.
Malware. Malware is a synonym with malicious software. It can be a program or a code that is harmful to the equipment's computer system. Some signs that the equipment was picked up by malware are reducing the speed of the operating system, lack of available storage space, and increased pop-ups and unwanted programs. When browsing pirate websites, we are opening the door to malware, which is why it is to be very attentive to warning messages when installing applications, essentially if permissions are requested to sign in to email or other personal information. Good antivirus protection recognizes and alerts you about malware.
Ransomware is malware that infects a device, encrypts all files, prevents the user from having access to them, and requires a ransom from the user to regain access to those files. If you don't, you could lose your files forever. Experts and police advise too: never pay a cybercriminal. There is no guarantee that you will regain control of your files and he may come back to explore more money. Ransomware is a crime. Report it to the local authorities. Consult the No More Ransom Project website, which contains details on how to report in each country and on decryption tools. For protection, never click on unsafe links. Use only known download sources. Avoid disclosing personal information. Don't open suspicious email attachments. Keep programs and operating system up to date.
Data breaches. Data breaches are security incidents which infringe the fundamental right to data protection, Article 8(1) of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union and Article 16(1) of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. Data breaches require a comprehensive response. Recognizing this, the European Union has adopted a legal framework on personal data protection, which highlights the need for transparency and accountability. One of the main innovations of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR Regulation, European Union 2016/679, is the obligation for data controllers to notify data breaches to the supervisory authorities, and in some cases to the data subjects concerned. The GDPR contains rules regarding the deadline for these notifications, the competent supervisory authority, the cases in which data subjects need to be notified, the consequences of non-notification, etc. Article 33 and 34 of the GDPR. However, it does not regulate internal and external processes for the detection, reporting, and mitigation of adverse effects. Even though a personal data breach must be notified, to the supervisory authority within 72 hours after the controller becomes aware of it. Online privacy. Online privacy represents the right that a person has to control the information about themselves in order to prevent their personal data from being revealed, preventing them from unduly exposing or harming them in any way. The great challenge we face today on the internet is to know who has access to our information, what uses they make of this information, how public it is. To facilitate the understanding of the right to privacy online, it is necessary to understand the basic functioning of social networks and the rules for using the sites we frequent. We must inform ourselves about these services as the best way to achieve safe web browsing. Knowledge allows us to be aware of the risks we are exposed to on the internet and to take precautions to reduce and avoid them. Passwords. First, you should understand what not to do when creating a password. Avoid using proper names. Avoid important commemorative dates in your life. Do not use words that integrate dictionaries. Don't use the worst keywords. Do not use the browser password manager. Do not share your password. Recommendations for creating a password. Include uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. Make a mix between these characters. Use at least 16 characters. Create mnemonics that help you memorize each password. Cyberbullying. Internet violence, known worldwide as cyberbullying, is a general term for any cyberbullying communication activity that can be considered harmful to both the individual and the common good. This form of peer violence includes situations where a child or teenager is exposed to an attack by another child, teenager, or group of children via the internet or a mobile phone. That is, both the perpetrators and the victims are minors. Sexting. Sexting is the term used to describe the upload of erotic or sexual content, such as photographs and videos, over the internet. How to avoid sexting? Avoid sending intimate content over the internet as much as possible. When sending private materials to another person, make sure they are completely trustworthy. If you send photos or videos, be sure the material is deleted on both the sending device and the one you received. Keep your computers up to date with antivirus to prevent them from getting hacked. Have secure passwords on your electronic devices. Misuse of sexting can generate cyberbullying, stalking, grooming in the case of minors, and even cause depression for the person.
Cyberstalking is the use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual, group, or organization. It may include false accusations, defamation, slander, and libel. It may also include monitoring, identity theft, threats, vandalism, solicitation for sex, doxing, or blackmail. Cyberstalking is often accompanied by real-time or offline stalking. Cyberstalking is a criminal offense and various state anti-stalking, slander, and harassment laws. A conviction can result in a restraining order, probation, or criminal penalties against the assaultant including jail.
Keylogger. Keylogger is a program created to record everything a person types on a certain computer keyboard. It is a spyware type program and is used to capture passwords, bank details, credit card information, and other types of personal data. Many keyloggers are installed for criminal purposes, but they can also be used, for example, for parents to monitor their children's internet conversations and for companies to check their employees' activities. Smishing. Here, criminals use text messages to trick the victim by inventing fake contests or prizes by making the person enter a website where the viruses are stored. How to prevent? Avoid passing data through messages and do not believe in sweepstakes or gifts. And don't open suspicious messages on the internet. Be very careful when doing banking transactions. Note that banks, online stores, or any other site that usually ask for personal data or passwords have the HTTPS Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure Protocol in their web address, which guarantees data encryption, user identification and integrity certificates, and confidentiality of information. Grooming. When our child are in front of the computer, on social networks, on game sites or animations, it is very difficult to identify who is on the other side of the monitor. We may be facing grooming, which is the attraction of minors through the internet to try to get photos, videos, and even physical contact through face-to-face meetings. How to avoid grooming? Assess whether the child is mature enough to use social media. Note if the child is increasingly reserved. See if you have adult friends you don't know. Be careful that the child does not leave without saying where he is going or with whom. Talk to your child about the risks of the internet and avoid grooming. Security on Wi-Fi networks. Recommendations of Wi-Fi users. Avoid using open Wi-Fi networks which they are not password protected or policies confidentiality. Do not access websites that hold information with sensitive data such as bank or health data in while connected to a public Wi-Fi. Access logs should capture the name of user if applicable, the associated mobile phone number used for authentication, IP address, date and time, etc., which can identify the user. Develop a user agreement on maintaining information security. Also establish a privacy policy for Wi-Fi users. Security with mobile devices. Mobile devices such as smartphones or tablets are very useful because with them we can connect to the internet virtually anywhere with a data plan or via Wi-Fi networks. With them we read news, watch video, check mails, among others. So it is important to keep this type of devices safe because if we lose them or if they are stolen, all our personal information can fall into the hands of criminals. Tips for keeping mobile devices safe. Have a reliable and updated antivirus. Be safe. Buy and install apps from official stores. Change passwords regularly. Do not enter personal data on open Wi-Fi networks. Turn off Bluetooth when not using it. Do not open emails with unknown addresses or strange titles. How to use social media safely. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and other various social networks are part of our daily lives. However, we hardly ever think about the risks that lie within them and how we can avoid them. When opening a link on your social networks, check if the domain is correct and identify with the HTTPS code at the beginning. Install an antivirus and keep it always up to date. Configure the privacy settings of your social networks, leaving little information visible to those who don't know. Do not follow or accept accounts from strangers on your social networks. Do not fill out forms that promise prizes or money in exchange for information. Use secure passwords. Do not download files from suspicious websites on the internet. To share secure documents, use cloud services like Google Drive or OneDrive.
Children of today, adults of tomorrow, be happy safely. Enjoy the technology. Be friends and have help. The school gives you the tools with perseverance. You will be the future of the world. Grave it with strength and confidence. The end.